Hi everybody, Little Pepper Lady here. Today is Sunday. It's May 26th. It's 2019, and as you can see, I am out in the wilderness today. Actually, I am walking down Ed's Road. Came up here just a little bit ago. We are going to start working on our notes and things for this evening's live stream, which is going to be a really good topic. If you can, go check it out. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, he's going to, I keep looking behind me because he's back there somewhere. I'm just not sure where he is. This is, his property with all the flags and things. He's actually working on some other stuff. We have some collaboration videos we're going to be doing together, so it's going to be kind of good. But I have him back there working on that stuff while I make my video for today. So, today's topic is going to be about bugging in or bugging out. Now, my biggest thing is I live in a small rural community, and I obviously don't want to stay where I'm at if I don't have to, especially if it comes down to having heat source and a water source. I live in town, so if something happens, if there's an SHTF situation and there is no power, I won't have access to water. And I won't have access to heat. I do not have a wood stove or anything like that in my house. So that's kind of a main concern for me where I am currently located at. Now, I do have a couple of different locations that I can go to and bug out to if I need to that have those available. So I have a piece of property that's about 4 miles away from where I am that will provide me with heat through a wood stove, and there's a running creek. Now, I do have a creek next to my house in town, so that would be a good source of water. But if something happens during the middle of the winter, we have to be able to stay warm. And yes, I could always, start a fire anywhere that I needed to if it's something that I need to do, but I don't want to do that if I don't have to. I'd rather have the source as far as a wood stove or something like that goes. So I have the ability to bug out, but I do know that people don't always have that ability. So, if you don't, it's always good to have some type of a heat source. And by that I mean, if you can do like a charcoal grill, or any type of a small stove where, you can go outside. If you're in, a rural community or you're in the city and there's no way for you to get out, let's say the roads are barricaded or something, along those lines, and you have no way of being able to get out of the city, or even have a barrel in your yard or in your home and have pre-cut wood so that you can start a fire in the barrel. Yes, it's not a good idea to do it indoors, but if you have to, you're going to be able to stay warm by doing that. So, if you have the already stacked up wood, you have the barrel, you can do the fire indoors. Just make sure, you're cracking a window and you guys can, gather around that fire at that point in time, if that's something that you have to do. Because like I said, I know not everybody can bug out of their location. I know in some instances you're going to have to bug in, and it's going to be in a city or it's going to be in a rural community, and you just don't have the option to be able to get out. I understand that. There's a lot of people that live in those types of communities, so you have to make do with what you have. As far as the water supply goes, because we all know, whatever you've gathered up as far as your preps go, your water is only going to last so long, depending on how much you have, if you don't have some type of a filtration system or a water source to be able to do that. So start looking around now if bugging in is an option or is the only option, and see what you can use as a water source, and then get yourself a filtration system for that water source. In my instance, the creek next to my house, if I end up having to stay where I'm at, it's not the cleanest creek. It's a town creek. It has a lot of pollutants in it, so I need to get a filtration system for that, so I'm prepared, because you just don't know. You don't know if you'll be able to bug out to your other location or not. And, you may start that journey and you may not be able to get there. So you have to assess the situation when it comes, but you have to be prepared for where you're at now being the only place that you're going to be able to stay. So those are important tips as far as that goes. My personal preference, if we're going to be in any type of a situation where it's going to be longer than 2 weeks, is kind of where I'm sitting at right now. If it's going to be longer than a 2-week time frame, we're bugging out. We're bugging out to our location, and luckily my location that I have is only 4 miles away from my house. It is, it's equipped with all the things that I'm going to need. There's already preps there. I'm slowly taking more and more preps there. And if I can't get out with my vehicle, we can make it 4 miles backpacking. I know a route to take. I know how to get to that route. And I'm familiar with the woods between here, where I'm at in town, and that area that I'm going to be traveling to. So that's another thing too. If your bug out location is just, a short distance where if you can't get into a car and go, then, you have the ability to know how to get there, know what kinds of things that you're going to encounter on the way, and know your quickest route to get there, and make sure, if at all possible, it's not along a main road, because in a real SHTF situation, those main roads are going to be blocked off, or there's going to be militia or police or anything around, and you're not going to have the ability to be able to get to where you need to go by taking a main road. So be looking for alternative ways to get to where it is that you're going to be bugging out to, and know what you're going to encounter and keep doing it. So just because it looks a certain way currently doesn't mean in 5 years it's not going to be completely different. It could be well more overgrown. There could be knocked down trees. There could be all sorts of hazards out there that you can encounter while you're on foot trying to get to your alternative location. And you need to be aware of that. So continuously be going along that route, or find alternative routes. Have a different couple of ways to get there. Now, unfortunately, in my instance, the route that we plan on going is actually the only way to get there that isn't, a roadway, a main roadway. There are no back roads or anything like that between where I am and where I'm going. So that is the only route that I have, and it's important that I keep track of what's happening with that route and make sure that I'm prepared for what I could encounter along that route. It is beautiful out here. I'm just taking in this beautifulness. All you hear is the birds, and it's just gorgeous. I gotta show you guys. I mean, look at that. It's so peaceful out here. I'm so jealous of where he lives. It's gorgeous. I love it so much. I grew up in the country. I grew up on not really a back road, but my parents' house was out in the middle of nowhere, or it seemed that way. You couldn't see it from the road. We could still hear traffic and things, which was kind of stinky, but I love areas like this. It's nice and peaceful, and it's good for your soul, to be able to just get out and kind of walk around and check out your surroundings and enjoy what nature has to offer, really, because you don't get to see this in the city or the town. It's very loud, and there's lots of people all over the place, and it's just way better out here, to be honest. And I'm sure you're probably having a hard time hearing me because the wind is picking up a little bit. It's been off and on, looking like it's going to rain all day. I don't know what's going on with the weather. I can't make up its mind. First it was supposed to pour all day today, and then it said that it wasn't going to pour, so I'm not really sure what's going on. But, again, if you have the ability to bug in, and you have everything that you need, you have that heat source, you have that water source, that's going to be your best bet. You don't want to leave where you're at with your preps. You don't want to leave your preps. You don't want to leave any of that stuff if you don't have to. Okay, that's a last ditch effort if you have to get out of there. And if you do, make sure wherever it is that you're going, you have yourself set up to be able to stay long term, because that's what's going to happen if you do end up having to bug out. Like for me, I need to make sure that my other location is good to go for a long period of time, at least a year, if not more. And where I'm at in my house that I plan on bugging into, that's a 2-week place. So if everything's going to be down and out, and there's going to be chaos for more than 2 weeks, we're getting out of Dodge. We're taking what we can, and we're getting out whatever way we can. If we can get in the car, great. If we can't, we're going to do it by foot. And that's another thing. I have started to get things prepared for my animals as well, because like I said, we are going with my animals. My dogs will be going with me. My one dog I can carry in a backpack. My cats I can put in backpacks or cat cages. So make sure that you're taking that into consideration as well, because if you have animals and they're going with you to wherever you're going, that's a very important thing, is making sure that you're prepared to travel with them as well, especially if you have to do it on foot. It's going to make a huge difference. You could lose them, and that's obviously not anything that any of us want. Animals are like part of our family, so it's important that we're prepared for them as well. And children, you have to make sure that you're prepared for any type of a long trek with your children as well. He's coming to stalk me. He has no idea. Anyway, so as always remember, guys, everything happens for a reason. Whether you're having a good day or a bad day, you're in a good situation or a bad situation, you're on that journey for a reason. So just stick with it and everything's going to be okay. Also, always remember, forget about the past. The past is not important. There isn't anything that you can do about it. You need to be living in the now while being focused on the future. Be living, be loving, be laughing every single day and enjoying your life now. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. We all could not be here tomorrow. So just make sure you're staying focused on the future and you're living your life now. That's all I got for you guys today. I'll talk to you tomorrow.